Here was the set piece of the night. This thing went on and on and on as it just continued to evolve in worse ways. So MJF and the Hurt Syndicate were in the back. They're cutting a promo, just a brief promo. And then as MJF continues to speak, the Hurts go around the corner because they're going to get ready to do whatever they're going to do. And oh my God, what the f-? And the camera goes around the corner and they discover a note on the not on the blackboard, actually the whiteboard, the white drawing board thing. Jet Speed have taken the tag team belts. They've left them a note said, hey, we went ahead and took the belts because I pinned Shelton on Collision. But then it was signed Jet Speed, so I don't know who I and then the plural would be, but one of these numbnutses beat Shelton Benjamin apparently on Collision. So this is the beginning and the end here. And then the Hurts leave because they want to go find Jet Speed with the tag team belts. So already the Hurt Syndicate has joined the land of Lilliput, the Lollipop Guild type of angles. They were serious. They looked like stars. They hurt people. They got over. Now, I'm sorry, all you can call them is job guys, because that's what they ought to be doing right now. Small, underneath talent that has not been developed, and in Hong Kong's Fui's case, never can be, is now being put in a position to fucking make stumble bums out of some of the only stars that they have on the roster. So, but now it's time, because while the Hurts go looking for their belts, MJF has to go to the ring to meet Mark Briscoe for the in-ring talkie talk. And boy, as soon as they started and they were looking at each other, and you see the contrast between MJF and Mark Briscoe, and both these guys, there's an element of legitimacy to both of their gimmicks. There's potential here to begin with. This is probably the most interesting thing going on, because both guys can talk, both guys can work, and you got a baby face that, despite the booking, people still care about. But God, all I could think was, if Mark Briscoe had been presented properly for the past 2 years, and I guess you could say the same thing about that for MJF too, this would have been the pay-per-view main event, and it would have drawn some legitimate money. I truly believe that. If they could have, instead of trying to please the fucking weirdo audience that's going to buy this shit no matter what, if they'd have tried to make shit make sense with talent that can get over and make people care about them instead of their fucking monkey moves, this could be Punk and MJF level type of thing. Anyway, MJF blistered the crowd. It just, shut the fuck up. Have you noticed they bleep like later on? I think maybe a goddamn or something, but they just say they've quit trying to bleep shut the fuck up from the crowd. And MJF was good with hey, take a walkie walk back to your meth lab in the dumpster fire, Delaware. But Mark Briscoe, he's got the gimmick. He's got the talk. He's proud to be a country boy. He's worked hard. I've got riches too, my family and my friends. You're bankrupt. That's the word of the day. Morally bankrupt. You have no soul. And he said, and I didn't really like the way that they led into this, where Mark said, you're going to talk some dumb shit about my brother and try to piss me off, but it won't work. Let's not tell him what he's going to do when he's going to do it. But MJF put Jay over, and the fans applauded and chanted Jay and everything. But then he hits Mark with the thing, I pity Jay because he's got to see what you've become. And he's rolling in his censored to see what you've become. Goddamn grave, maybe, if I'm a lip reader. And if Jay was here, he'd say, chicken, it shouldn't have been me, it should have been you. And that's when Mark gets on him. And they have the big fight. And okay, now we got a goddamn personal issue going. Imagine that. Between two guys that can talk and work and people are into it. And then we got to here comes the dancing bears and all the rest of the clowns and the acrobats in the circus. The Hurt Syndicate music plays. And here comes Bobby and Shelton and MVP, and they get to the ring where they're still on the floor, but Briscoe is covered. And then here comes Kevin Knight and Spitball. And they come from behind and jump Lashley and Benjamin, and they've got the belts, and it looked horrible. They can't do this shit. It's not. Briscoe chased MJF through the crowd. He got fuck out of there. But then again, an extended period of time that Kevin Knight and our friend Hong Kong Phooey with the whitest teeth that anyone has ever come across have got all three members of the Hurt Syndicate that any one individual one could take the other two apart. They've got all three down, selling on the floor, and they were beating them up. But it wouldn't stop, but their shit looked horrible because they didn't know what to do. So they were just awkwardly trying to throw them around. And I couldn't believe it. They finally decided to have baby faces kick some ass, and it's not Swerve, it's not Paige, it's not Kenny, it's not Osprey. It's these two. And then here comes Christian Cage and his children. Pip Sabian and Nick Plain and Mama Plain. And they beat on the Hurt Syndicate, and they concertoed Lashley's leg 3 times. Brian, goddammit, tell me that it's insane that what they're doing to their own goddamn move, Christian, that stupid thing that I've always hated when anybody does it, the concerto. But if you put a guy's leg on a chair, and you take another chair and you whack it as hard as you can 3 times, should the announcers be saying, well, this may hamper him when he wrestles in 3 days? What the fuck? Oh, yeah, that's going to hurt him this weekend at All In. Why ain't he going to the hospital? You fucking foons. So then Phooey tried a Phooey kick on Shelton and almost missed him. And then Kevin Knight splashed him off the top rope. And then Christian's kids stared at the other kids while the grown adult stars were laid out in the ring selling. And some idiots were on Twitter saying, well, at least after last week, they put some interest back in the match. What the fuck is the matter with people? What are they looking at? It's the worst build to a match in history, and I'm thinking the Hurt Syndicate's appeal may not recover from this. Let's see from now on how people react to them versus how they've been reacting to them, and see whether this was the shark jumping or the straw camel breaking or whatever point.
Now that you saw all this, who do you think's going over at All In?
I think you're right. I think one of the kids is going to beat the other team of kids, and there's going to be the Hurt Syndicate, not the champions anymore, with nobody to fucking work with and looking like idiots. Because Tony can't figure out a way to utilize stars when he accidentally comes across them. If they start getting over on their own, he can't keep them that way because it wasn't his idea and he doesn't know why it's happening. If he gets them from someplace else, he brings them in and diminishes them with the booking. Or if they salvage themselves from his booking, then they're still handicapped by the children that they're forced to get in the ring with that don't know what they're doing on a mainstream level. And in this case, the Hurts had avoided the bad booking for the most part, but we had been talking about the fact that there's nobody for him to work with to draw any money. Some idiot's going to say, well, that's why they're trying to get Knight and Phooey over. What the fuck? Go get 2 crackheads out from under a goddamn overpass. You'll have same opportunity at getting them over. It's not about just getting somebody over. It's about getting the right people over that are also stars, of which they have none.
Well, we'll see what happens at All In. Obviously, a very interesting build to the tag title match. Now a 3-way match and the MJF Briscoe stuff. And typically, this has been the highlight of the show.
I bet you that they said, Tony or somebody said to the Hurts, well, why don't you put the belts on these guys? They're getting over so good. And they laughed. And that's why they stuck the other team in so that they can play amongst themselves. And Shelton and Bobby's professional reputations will not be damaged. They won't be over anymore, but they're going to make the same amount of money. I was ready for a good night's sleep, Brian.
I don't blame you.
And here's the thing. So I needed not only a good night's sleep, but I needed something to help me forget about the horrors I had witnessed, the PTSD of TNT or TBS on AEW and other letters. But, since we found the folks over at Beam and Beam's Dream Powder, Brian, it was a game changer, as they say. Actually, if you don't play games when you sleep, but it was a sleep changer. Because, folks, Dream is an all-natural sleep blend with science-backed ingredients designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And unlike other sleep aids, folks, there's no next day grogginess, just real deep sleep that helps you feel good the next morning. A lot of times, Brian, you take these other sleep aids, and the next morning you get up groggy and bleary-eyed, and you kind of rub your eyes. You can't find your socks, and maybe you don't know where your underwear is. And then you walk out the front door and you realize you got to go all the way home. And you don't have all your clothes. But not with Beam.
No, not with Beam.
That's never going to happen.
No.
And I'll tell you what also, Brian, Beam has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep. And that is over 175 million sheep that have been counted. And 92% of users surveyed reported better sleep and waking up refreshed. 8% of the users will begin commenting again as soon as they're going to remember how to do cursive soon, and they can fill out the form.
We can't speak for the other 8%, but we could say that
some of them can't even speak for themselves anymore. They're so
stop
refreshed.
it. We can speak for Beam, the power of Beam, and the Dream Powder. Yes. Of course, Suzanne has become a big, big fan of it. She asked me the other day, when are we getting more Beam?
Well, and Stacy's on the Beam. She's even got the little custom mixer that they give you for the Beam Dream Powder, because folks, it's gonna make you feel better, refreshed, turn your brain off at night from stressing and thinking about things. You're not gonna think about a thing when you're sleeping the sleep of the angels on the Beam's Dream Powder. You might dream. That's why they call it Dream Powder.
Might be a nice dream. I'll tell you That's right.
You can dream anything you want to dream, and don't feel guilty, because you're not going to remember it when you get up the next day. So go ahead and do that German video scene that you've been thinking about. And for right now, Brian, for a very limited time only, Beam is giving our listeners, that's the people who listen to you and me, so they'd be the ones hearing this now, the biggest discount ever, up to 40% off. The best-selling Dream Powder, for a limited time, you can get up to 40% off when you go to Shop Beam, B-E-A-M, shopbeam.com/JCE, and use the code JCE at checkout, up to 40% off and a wonderful night's sleep. And you go to sleep anywhere. Go to sleep on a rock, on a bale of hay. You go to sleep in the median in the middle of the interstate, and nothing is going to wake you up, because you're going to be sleeping the sleep of the angels. Just remember to write your name and social security number down, put it in your pocket.
You will be fine. Just in case. Stay home, sleep, have a good night's sleep in your bed. When you need it, Beam is there for you. Jim, one more time, professionally.
Yes.
What's the way that the listeners can get this great deal?
shopbeam.com/JCE. Use the code JCE at checkout for up to 40% off. You know, say the thing is, if you're sleeping in the median, sometimes people run over the median by mistake. So you never know. Things could happen.
Well, that won't happen. Stay home.
Don't sleep in the median, kids.
That's right.
Yes, stay home and sleep in the floor. Shop Beam, you'll just fall asleep. Could be on the toilet.
On your bed. Shop Beam. Keep going.
Shopbeam.com/JCE.
That's
for
right.
up to 40% off. Well, don't drink it before you sit down on the toilet.
Up to 40%
your legs
off.
might go to sleep.
I think what you were saying was up to 40% off. A great deal. Get a good night's sleep from our friends
That's
at Beam.
true. Yes. Well, there you go.